Good evening. You're tuned in to Grizzly Radio Interview with your host, Corey Mescon. Today, we are having a very special day as we are accompanied by the cast and creators of Death Merchant, a film where one guy has 24 hours to kill 5 mob boss families to save his daughter. Pretty tough stakes, huh?
A little bit.
How about you guys tell us a little bit about yourselves? What do y'all do in entertainment as a whole? Names, introductions? The audience wants to know.
Well, I'm Janet Wang, and I'm in the movie. I play a character called Zhao. I don't want to give too much away, but she is kind of like the person that just screws everything up for the poor death merchant. I also did a lot of other things on the film, like makeup, and I AD'd every once in a while, and sometimes I did crafties. So, I filled in a lot of jobs. I also helped produce a bit on this film as well.
I mean, that's tough wearing a lot of hats, like ADing and acting hand in hand. That can drive a person insane. How was your job ADing on set on this in particular one, where you are acting and having a lot of action sequences and stuff like that, while also wrangling up everybody on set?
Yeah, it got, there were times when it got a little rough, I don't want to say rough, but I did get tired a lot, and poor Victor would have to find me in the corner, I'd be, laying my head down, and he'd be like, Janet, we're getting ready to roll. I'm like, okay, I'm coming.
It's intense. And she said your name is Victor, is that it?
Victor Gelsomino.
Victor Gelsomino?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I wrote the movie and directed it, and I play a little part in there. I might play the Death Merchant. And so, I met Janet on a stunt team, and we kind of collaborated on the movie a lot, and she helped bring a lot to the table as well as act in the movie. It really took a village to make this film. We didn't really have a huge budget, so we didn't have all the resources they have in Hollywood. But we wanted to make a big budget, Hollywood film. And so we kind of just used our friends and our family and connections that we had built over the years to put everything together and to try to make this big budget action film in Houston.
I mean, your network is your net worth, right? That's what they,
that's
what
absolutely.
they say.
Yeah, that's what
Absolutely.
they say.
So the same situation. Janet is ADing and also acting in the movie and doing all sorts of the other jobs and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Directing, acting. How is that directing while acting while also, handling the other actors in the scene?
Yeah. It was extremely difficult, especially doing stunts. I did all my own stunts in the movie. So we'd set up, which took hours, get everything right, make sure we got our lighting. I was overseeing all that stuff, as well as even just bringing the craft services to there, bringing all the guns and the wardrobe. I mean, we were working the night before and then hours before we even went to the set, and then to be there, to then do the stunts and do all the stuff and have to, direct everything and then try to remember all my lines and then go back behind the camera, review things, and then change it all. I mean, it was extremely difficult, extremely stressful. I don't recommend that to anybody, but we really just didn't have the budget for it. So I just had to do those extra jobs just because I love film so much and I really wanted to make a movie. And this is what it took. And I just couldn't not do it,
Mm-hmm.
So I was willing to work the extra hours, to do whatever it took to get this film done.
I hear you saying that. I brought crafty to the, everything, a little bit about that. You're doing PA jobs, directing, you're ADing, acting, you're also acting, you're trying to, communicate what you need to other actors, which we'll get to this a little bit later, but I know you have a couple of notable names in here.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that in a little bit. What exactly was your direct inspiration for making this movie?
I think I was watching Commando one day, and I kind of thought, what if he, in the movie, he has to go kill a president of somebody in South America to save his daughter's life. And so this drug dealer kidnaps his daughter, and he's got to go down there. But he decides not to. He decides to go against all that and then kill all the bad guys. And so I basically thought, well, what if he did go through with that? What if he did have to go down there and kill the president? Well, I said, he's a good guy. He can't really kill a president. Then I kind of started thinking, well, what if it was another drug dealer? And then I thought, well, that's pretty cool. And I thought, well, what if it's like now like 3 or 4 drug dealers? And so then that kind of snowballed into like this concept
that I thought maybe 5 drug dealers.
Yeah. So that's where the 5 mob bosses. I wanted like insurmountable odds.
Okay.
Even I remember in John Wick there was a scene where they talked about he had the impossible task. And so they never explored that much. And this is almost like that movie. It's like the impossible task. Like he's got to go through and kill all these guys so this drug dealer Gabriel can take over the city and run all his drugs through the city, and then also own, all the politicians and everything.
So if your daughter was a dog, this is literally John Wick.
A little bit, but not exactly.
Which
because
one holds
she doesn't
more
die.
strength?
She doesn't die.
Okay.
And it's not vengeance.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
Guys, this is your first time?
Hey, you don't want to be,
Yeah. So there's actually there's a lot of brutal close-up action. Some of this stuff, I'm not trying to name everything in here, but there's a scene in particular with you two that got pretty gruesome. Now, regardless of that, what was the most physically demanding scene? This question's for both of you, but first Janet. How about that?
Well, I would definitely say that our big battle fight or whatever was probably the most demanding scene for fight scene for me. We had both just had COVID, and we were coming off of it, and so we were really weak and tired. But we were better from COVID.
We were
recovered, but we weren't 100%. We weren't 100%, but we had to get it done because we were on a time crunch. So we just went ahead and did it. And when we were watching, we were like, "Oh my god, this fight scene looks horrible!" We were like, "Oh my god, we just both look so tired," and blah, blah, But then it plays well though because it's near the end of the movie, and we'd been chasing each other throughout the whole movie already, and by that time we should have been exhausted and tired.
The Clash.
Yeah.
Okay, so it kind of worked out.
Yeah,
for you
it worked
guys.
out.
It worked out for the scene.
Yeah, it played.
Dang, look at that happy accident. Because I heard you almost say recovening, and I think that would actually be a funny new invented word for recovering from COVID.
Yeah.
So how long does it take for that scene to make? I know, you hear these things like Stanley Kubrick, 97 takes of Shelley Duvall swinging a bat. How many takes did you make Janet swing at you?
Well, we scheduled that to shoot the whole scene at her warehouse where I come in and try to get something back from her without revealing too much. And so we had a huge dialogue scene and then this really big action scene where I sneak in and kill a bunch of guys leading up to Janet. And we honestly, there was so much to shoot and so much action, we didn't get to our scene. And so we had to reshoot that another night.
Yeah.
And it was just that scene. And it basically took all night.
It did take all night.
We thought it would just take a few hours because it was just our action scene. But just sit there, choreograph it, get everything right.
Well, we had the choreograph ahead of time. Kaiser choreographed it for us.
Right.
So we had worked on the fight scene before. But we had all the coverage and then all the setups.
Going back over it and stuff like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was very challenging and fun though.
Yeah.
I mean, we got it done and it looks good. So.
I mean, it does look good.
Thank you.
Victor, what was your most strenuous scene to film? What was your most difficult?
I think we shot this one night in a warehouse, and unfortunately, it was the hottest day in Houston. And in the warehouse, even though it was at night, it got up to 110 degrees, and I had just been sick again. Yeah,
it was a year later,
yeah, or something. And so, it was just really hot, and I was directing and doing all this action stuff, and I was getting tortured, and I break free and kind of kill a bunch of people. And so that was just very difficult, to do all that and have the energy for it. I think I probably got a little bit of heat stroke while we were shooting that.
That building was brutal because there was no airflow.
And you were tied up in the scene.
Mm-hmm.
Right, yeah. So
not to,
Yeah, it was just a really difficult night of just tons of action. And tons of just getting beat up. I dragged through the ground. I got dragged on the ground, and then lots of rolling in the dirt and the water. And, it was kind of like a Die Hard moment, just beat up and bruised. It's closer to the end of the movie. But yeah, it was. I mean, it's fun, looking back on it, but also very stressful to try to manage all those pieces, and then to do all those stunts, and then kind of be discombobulated from the stunts, and then to get up and try to like remember, okay, we also have to get coverage here, and then lines, So it's a lot to manage,
It sounds, yeah.
I don't know if I'd ever do that again.
Really?
Yeah.
No.
I would definitely try to have as much help as I can. But that's the problem when you work in the indie industry, is you don't necessarily always have the resources or the help or the finances to get stuff done. And so sometimes you're stretched a little bit more, and things get to be a little more stressful.
Like the creative juices start flowing because you're exhausting resources and everything like that. How can you get by?
Right, yeah. Oh, yeah, you do have to get a little more creative. You have to cut back on some things, but maybe some stuff is better that way. Sometimes when you have these really big budgets, it's like you, make all this CGI craziness and all this stuff, but you lose that grittiness, and I think that's what's important for a film like this, is like maybe just that, grounded action. That's kind of just like, not spectacle, not like a guy diving in huge explosions, but maybe a guy diving, and killing like 5 guys, and then, running off, and that's just as cool.
Okay, so let's take a break from the stresses of filmmaking and everything. What about the funnest day? What about your favorite day to film? Who wants to go first?
Janet,
I'll let y'all. Oh, bam. It's volunteering. Volunteer distribute. Janet, make something up. What's your favorite day on that set?
Wow, there was like a lot of really great things that happened on that set. My favorite time shooting was at Hotel Icon. Yeah, we got to do some really cool things. We actually one night had rented like the penthouse and did a really cool fight scene. Yeah, that was really cool. I actually really enjoyed the one scene because we had a really cool like high fall, and setting all that up and just getting everything ready. There was a moment where I was a little bit stressed, but I don't want to talk about that before we started filming. But
We're on favorite.
Yeah, exactly. But the rest of the night was actually a lot of fun. It ran smoothly. We didn't have a whole lot of hiccups, and then we got to spend the night in a penthouse. That was really cool.
Who's gonna complain about that?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. There was so much cool stuff that happened, but it's also it's kind of such a blur, because you're managing so many different things. Mm-hmm. But I think there was a friend of mine, Tom Sizemore, is in the movie. I know we're going to get to that later, but we shot a scene with him that was kind of fun. I mean, it was fun, and really, I'm glad that we had those moments together, before he passed away.
That was also the very first.
That was the very first day. So it was kind of like, just funny enough, we weren't even going to start shooting till the next year, but he was in town and he was willing to do it. We had worked on a movie together before, and he was like, "Yeah, I'll do it." And so he came in for a few days or whatever, and then we shot, and yeah, so it was the rest is history.
It's interesting how things just like kind of fall in line.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of things
like
just
that.
kind of fell in line. The pieces kind of. I mean, even when I was writing this script, I didn't know who would be playing these roles, and the people just kind of showed up. And I think that's a lot in life when you just have a vision or a dream and you go for it, then the resources, the people will kind of appear,
That should be on a shirt.
Yeah.
So speaking of like things falling in line, people, your cast, how do you cast for something like this? I know that you wrote this quite some time ago, and you were meeting people like Tom and everything like that along the way. Did you already have people in mind for the characters when you were writing this? Like, did you already have it pre-cast, if that's the way you did it, or what was the casting process?
Yeah, I mean, some of those people just fell into place as I met along the way. One problem was the daughter. We couldn't really find somebody that we wanted, and we kind of found her last minute, and just as soon as we watched her audition, we knew she was it. So that was great. And then the rest of the people, honestly, I hadn't known over the years. And I always thought, like, how could I put all my friends and all the stunt people that I had met over the years into a movie? Because I really felt like we had done a bunch of shorts and action, and I owed it to them to try to give them a place to be and something to do. And so I really wanted to put my friends in a movie. And this allowed me to have so many different characters in the film where it actually worked out, that it didn't look forced. And that was kind of the history of that.
Okay. I mean, that kind of lays it out. So, having someone like Tom Sizemore on set, I know you had already worked with him previously on a film.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this guy's literally been directed by S-tier directors.
Right.
He's upper echelon of actors, side by side and everything.
Yeah.
Directing him, talking to him off screen,
Yeah.
all sorts of stuff like that kind of go involved with this. How was that process? How was that directing someone of that caliber?
I think it went pretty well. I knew Tom for a long time. We spent a lot of time together. And so we were just I was comfortable with Tom. So it wasn't like just going in and just being nervous. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, sure, there was probably some nerves that I don't really remember.
You were pretty nervous
about
He was really nervous about directing Tom. As we were gearing up for it, his anxiety was running a little bit high. But as we got into like actually filming the day of, he spent some time beforehand with Tom. Just him and Tom hanging around, running errands and stuff like that. So I think that helped kind of like quell his anxiety, so that when we got on set, it was just like a continuation of their day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it was good. I mean, he helped out with a lot of stuff too. Like, hey, let's work on this. Let's get this angle. Let's, try this different stuff. He was really helpful with his film knowledge and just kind of collaborating with me on making the scene the best it could be. And so that was really cool. And, he had lots of great stories to share with me, about his movie history and then movies he worked on and behind the scenes stuff and just all his experiences in Hollywood, which was really cool to hear, And so it was a great time, and it's hard to look back on that sometimes just because it's just, I still feel like he's around, and that he never went away. And so, I think he's still in our hearts and just in the spirit of the film. And so, we kind of made a little tribute to him at the end, and a little nice gesture and to thank him for his friendship and his hard work on the film.
Is there anything that he, like advice-wise, or maybe like some same as advice, words of wisdom that he gave you along the way that you feel comfortable sharing, or maybe these are things you want to take to your grave in your back pocket with you?
I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say. Honestly, he was just so funny, and we would just laugh, and he would tell jokes, and he would tell stories.
He did encourage you to do the film.
He did encourage me to do the film.
Yeah,
to do the film, and to just chase your dream, make something happen. And he believed in me and the project, and he wanted to do more films with us, and so that was encouraging and exciting. So it's just unfortunate he's not around to see the final product.
Yeah.
Robert Lasarda's in the movie, and they were actually good friends in life, and so he's actually really, he says he's really happy with the movie, how it turned out, and he's really surprised, and so that's a good sign. And I think he even said that Tom would be proud and happy. So that really kind of just solidifies that we made the right choice to keep going and to finish the film.
So Robert Lasardo.
Yeah.
What's that guy's deal? No. The thing is like there's a scene in there, right?
Uh-huh.
Where there's a gentleman who's like getting off a boat right? A very lovable, huggable guy, you know? And he's like bumbly around and everything. Looks like he was plucked right out of like a James Bond movie or like an Indiana Jones movie or something like
Totally.
that, right? And then he's giving Mr. Lasardo a little bit of like, you know, disappointing news. We'll just
Right.
say that.
Yeah.
And, you know, he's eating an apple, you know, or some piece of fruit. He's, you know, he's nourishing his body and everything. And you think, you know, guy's eating an apple a day, keeps the doctor away. Probably smart guy, really healthy guy. Probably very nice. The next thing he does, it's not that nice.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty scary. That's pretty scary.
Well, that was all to establish his character, you know, as being this ruthless drug dealer. But also,
is he that scary?
No, in real life he's
great.
He's great. He's very intellectual, like just very grounded person. He's, you know, he's gone through a lot of stuff, so he's got some great stories and great words of advice. Very wise. You know, he filmed his own movie himself, so he helped with a lot of advice throughout the film as well.
Yeah.
And, yeah, he's actually really
American
cool dude.
Trash. It's a great movie.
Yeah,
American Trash.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's his movie. He wrote it, directed it.
Yeah. So it's good. Check it out on Amazon.
Amazon Prime.
Yeah, there you go. So yeah, he was willing to come on board and to help us out, which he really brought a lot of life to the film. And the big bad. I mean, your hero is only as good, you know, as your bad guy. And so you have to have a formidable foe. And so he is awesome.
Yeah.
You know, and so he does a really great job in the movie, and he's very colorful, and you know, he could be a good guy or a bad guy. It depends on your perception of how everything is. And I kind of wanted that about the film. I kind of was inspired by The Sopranos. It's like none of these people are good people. You know, this city is Prison City. That's the name of the city in the movie, and it's because nobody ever gets to leave. It's because it's just a crime-ridden, drug-infested, you know, cesspool of a city. And so it's just kind of about those characters and what they're living. You know, they're not all just bad. You know, they have lives. They have wives and kids and in a job and different things. And they're going
relationships.
They're going through their life, you know, just like everybody else it does. But, you know, they're criminals. And so I kind of wanted to tell a story about the underbelly of a dark city.
Okay. You know, and the place where all this took place, with our lovable character, which when you watch the movie you'll know exactly what scene and who we're talking about and everything. Beautiful location. There's a lot of really great locations in this film, and you're filming in Houston.
Right.
Not a lot of resources that are going on. How'd you guys go about acquiring these locations? Because I'm going to tell you, there's a lot of people in Houston that are just renting the Airbnbs and stuff, and they're looking for these types of things.
Right.
Well,
I think. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say a majority of the locations were through my network as a realtor. And so I was very, very blessed that everybody that I talked to was more than willing to help us out and like let us, you know, I mean, yeah, we were just very lucky. I was very lucky to have the people supporting us the way they did. Yeah.
I
It goes
think,
back to the network
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Mhm.
Right,
Yeah,
but I think we
absolutely.
were also lucky in a lot of things. Like, even when I was writing the film, we didn't have those locations. I didn't even know Janet, you know, and it's like one of those things where you write it into existence, you know, and it kind of shows up. But then also, like, even just locations that she didn't have access to that we found, you know, were just like perfect for the film. Mm-hmm. And it was kind of, you know, serendipitous that this all came together, and that they matched the tone of the movie. You know, I think that was a big part, is like, it's an old world kind of feel for the film, you know, and not just like a new city, but it's like, it feels very cultish and an old world is the best way I can describe it, you know. And so almost used, the city feels used, gritty, and so we were lucky to get these great locations, which raised the production value a lot.
Mm-hmm. Funny enough, like we found, so the Hotel Icon was actually where I had his like surprise birthday party, And I was like, oh man, this place is great. And so we held his birthday party there, and like the entire time of his birthday party, he was blocking the hotel out for his film. Like, oh, I'm gonna shoot this here.
Still in work mode.
Yeah, and it's his birthday party, and I was like, hey, enjoy the people that are here for you. He's like, wait. I was like, oh my gosh.
Brain never sleeps.
Yeah.
Brain never rests. Okay, so action is a very ambitious genre to kind of adapt into, while there's names, sequences, stunts, all sorts of things, explosions, whatever. What made you choose action as your first genre for your first feature? And then also, like, maybe we'll backdoor it with, where do you see action today as apart from yesteryears?
Let's see. So action today, it's pretty awesome. I mean, there's some really good action movies out there. I think what happened is a lot of action movies built off of the action movies of yesteryear. I mean, there's still like, you can't beat, Arnold or Sylvester Stallone or Van Damme or any of the Chuck Norris or any of these greats that did these action movies. You can only try to do something a little bit different, and hopefully it's good. John Wick is a great example of that. All the stuff coming out of 8711 has been great, and there's been some really, really good action movies. I would still like to see a couple, different action movies. We still don't have our martial arts guy like a Van Damme out there. We're still missing some real big action heroes, and I think that would be kind of cool to see some of that come back. And just like some more gritty based action movies and some throwbacks to the 80s would be a lot of fun to see some of that. Genre is huge all over the world. Horror and action is huge, and that's because it speaks across all language barriers. And so I really think, and I would love to do a lot more stuff like that.
Interesting. Is there possible in the works sequel follow-up to Death Motion?
I would love to do a part 2 called World on Fire. Basically the plot of that is he gets pulled back into his old job with military. And so it's kind of going on missions around the world. Very, spy-ish, but, still, grounded, still a lot of, action, hand-to-hand combat, stuff like that. So still brutal. I think that would be one word to describe the movie, is that it has a brutality to it. And so it would be probably a little bit more brutal than like a James Bond, but something a little different locations around the world, that's if we can get, funding for part 2. So
interesting. Janet.
Yes.
What's your favorite action movie?
Oh man, it's a good question.
On the spot.
Right? For real. Like, I grew up watching a lot of action movies and stuff like that with my dad's best friend, I guess, who's like an uncle. So I actually grew up watching like boy films instead of, girl stuff. So, I mean, I remember watching like Apocalypse Now. Ooh. Yeah. As like one of my very first action films, which I absolutely love. But, oh man, that's a tough one. I would have pretended and left it at that. I'd have name drop Apocalypse Now. Yeah, Apocalypse Now probably was like my earliest memory and probably my most favorite action film.
Top tier.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was gonna say Ninja Turtles too. I love the Ninja Turtles.
Part 2?
The first one.
The first one.
The first one, only because it was the it was the very first of its kind.
Yes,
and
it was.
Like I was amazed by how the Ninja Turtles in their outfits were doing those action sequences. Like, that's what got me. I was like, man, that must have been exhausting. How hot and brutal was that? Like, that really was.
You would know.
Very hot, very brutal.
Yeah, you would know because you're a Ninja Turtle.
Hey, only on the weekend. Favorite action film?
Terminator 2.
Terminator T2.
This is the definition of a good movie. Okay. This is just my own personal take.
Y'all listening?
Is it rewatchable? Is it quotable? If you can rewatch the movie, it could be a great movie. Don't get me wrong. But if it's rewatchable, then it's a great movie. You know, and so I think that's one of the movies where it has action, great dialogue, drama, horror aspects, a little bit of comedy. It has like everything in one movie. Time travel, sci-fi. So it's like it's got everything you want in a film, and of course Arnold.
Yeah, you can see Arnold's tush. Come on now.
And so yeah, it's a great film. So I would say T2, which is coming back into theaters.
When?
Next month. I think May 23rd. I have to look at it.
May 23rd?
That's this month.
Yeah, this month.
We're in May.
Yeah, so maybe...
It's gonna be May. Yeah.
And
Okay.
so, yeah, that's what I would pick. How about you? What's your favorite movie of all time? Action
movie of all time?
Action movie.
Action? I mean, I always go, it's right on the hit. Galaxy Quest. It is an action comedy.
It's good.
It's an action comedy.
It's good.
Brilliant film.
Yeah.
Brilliant film.
Have you seen that? No? Oh, yeah.
You got Tim Allen, Alan Rickman. That's almost a palindrome. Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah, Sigourney Weaver. Yeah.
Sam Rockwell.
Oh.
Like,
It's
one
great.
of his first, Tony Shalhoub.
Okay.
It's a fantastic film. Definitely
So
something
good.
to check out.
Yeah.
Definitely something to check out. Okay, so here's one thing that you hear very often on set, right? Is we'll fix it in post. Right there. It's right here.
Uh-huh.
I didn't even know I was wearing the shirt. It just so happened to be one of the questions I was going to ask, and I randomly had this shirt on. What is something in the filming process where you're like, oh, let's just keep moving on. Don't worry about it. We'll fix it in post. And it came back to bite you.
I don't think we ever said fix it in post.
No, we never did.
No, she actually was always upset with me because I was always trying to get everything perfect.
Yeah.
She's like, you can't get it perfect, blah, 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 we got to keep moving, all that stuff. And I was like, I had to try to get my shots,
Yeah.
Not all of them turned out exactly the way I want. I mean, there's always the movie you write, the movie you shoot, and the movie you edit, and then the movie you see. I mean, there's all completely different films. And so, there was a lot of stuff in post where I was really upset. And, she witnessed all of it where, I was like, oh man, I didn't get what I had written. I didn't get the shots I wanted, but that happens to, all filmmakers. Even Martin Scorsese says, I didn't get the shot. I'm like, it doesn't look good. It's not the way I envisioned it. And you just have to keep moving forward. And then I think, honestly, most of those things, like, I don't remember now. Like, I just watch it and I kind of forget some of that stuff, of like not getting things or certain things. And I've learned to accept it for the way it is in the new version. I mean, we cut an hour off of the movie. We cut a lot of dialogue scenes, and we didn't really cut any action. We mostly spared all the action.
We did,
which
keep
is
the
what
action.
people will come for.
Yeah, because
people
we
want
wanted to
see
keep
the
it an action
So,
movie.
I felt like some scenes where we were establishing characters or dialogue was just a little bit redundant, and so we were fortunately able to cut a lot of that off and, kind of move up the timeline of and just start it right out with action, and then introduce it to the characters, and then just once it gets into the second act, it just goes, it goes by fast. So
Okay. I mean, I feel like that's like really good advice for a lot of like newer filmmakers or filmmakers that just filmmakers in general that beat themselves up when they're trying to get their film executed and everything, and it's like all these, oh man, I didn't get to shoot this, I wanted it this way, I wanted it that way, but then the way that things kind of all fall together, line up, and become the film that you do see as opposed to the film that they wrote and the film that they shot.
Right, and I think too, it's like one of those things where don't worry about it so much on this film, because there will always be more that you could have done or more that you want to do. Save it for the next film or move it over somewhere else, and each film is like a learning process. You'll never be perfect. It will never be perfect. And then how can you just go on to the next one, And so I shot like 60 short films before this, learning so much on each one to get me to this point. So all those lessons I learned, shooting all that stuff got me to this film. And then, God willing, if, I take a little bit of a break after this one, if I decide I want to do another film, then I can take those lessons from this film and hopefully apply it to that one.
How long have you guys been in film?
Well, me not very long. I mean, I literally, my first actual experience in film was with our stunt team, and then like shortly after meeting him in the stunt team, we started doing this film. So yeah, I've only been in it for maybe 6 years.
So you started off in stunts. Mm-hmm. That's strong. Strong woman. Strong woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's like your favorite stunt that you've done
Oh man.
thus far?
Hong Kong twist.
So I do love a lot of I do love fight scenes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a martial artist by like started out in martial arts when I was very young, so I do love all the fight scenes, and I'm trained in like everything. But I was also an aerialist, and so any sort of wire stunts are my favorite. Like I love doing wire stunts. I had one really cool stunt. Actually, I had a couple of really cool stunts, but one was in a little Batman short that we did years ago. Not the one I directed, but another one where I was like yanked, and so it made it look like I was like being yanked from my whatchamacallit, choker. Yeah, that one was a really cool stunt. And then I had another one. It was a commercial I did recently where I had to drop out of the sky and land in the hero pose. I was in a wrestling ring. It was really cool. That one was cool.
Did you have good knee pads?
No, I didn't have any knee pads, but it was in a wrestling ring, so it was kind of
okay. It
has a little give. Yeah.
Kind of
So yeah, it took a couple of takes because I had to adjust to the spring and how I landed and everything like that. But that was a pretty fun one too.
That sounds really cool.
Yeah.
And fun.
Yeah, being like dropped from the air, just dunk, in a wrestling ring. But I had like a luchador mask on and a suit. It was really
the picture.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
It was a lot of fun.
That's cool.
What about you? What's your deal? How long in film?
I think I kind of started out in film. I did some acting in high school, acting classes, and then I did a stunt workshop in New York when I was like 19, and I had
So you've been in stunts also since day one.
Yeah, for a
Early.
while. Yeah, in martial arts and stuff like that. And so then, of course, you have to get a real job, And so in my 20s, I was working a lot, and then still doing some acting here and there, classes and things like that. And then about in my 30s, I thought, I need to take it more serious. Went back to film school, and fell in love with just all the process of filmmaking and all the different roles, not just like being an actor, but just writing and directing. All that stuff really was, funny enough, it's like I kind of fell out of love with acting and fell more in love with writing and directing. And so, kind of worked. And then my goal was, okay, I'm going to shoot as many short films as I can. We shot like 60 short films, and then, start doing features. And then, I remember on my fridge, I was like, one day I'll have an IMDb, and I just thought that was like the furthest thing away, I'll never get there.
Oh, yeah.
And then I got my first role in a feature, got my first IMDb credit, and then more films and now it's like, 16 films or something later. And so finally I got to do my own feature. And so that's kind of it.
That's a beautiful story. What's your favorite stunt that you've ever done?
Favorite stunt was probably in Las Vegas in a horror movie, and I had to do like what's called a face-off. And so basically I was on a rock face, kind of climbing, and this monster kills me. And then I fall off and then kind of just turn and land on my back on a pad, but it was inside a cave.
It was a mining.
Yeah, it was an old mining.
Coal mine?
Yeah, no, gold mine.
It was old gold. I don't know.
I can't remember. It was some sort, but it was an old mine.
It was old mine.
Shaft,
it was really cool. Very dangerous. If I fell a little too far left or right, I would have hit the side of the cavern. And so, but they had safety guys there, the stunt coordinator, everything. Everybody made me feel safe, even though it was, scary.
Yeah.
I'm actually afraid of heights. So,
on top.
Like I'm just not, I get like vertigo when I get too high or whatever. So, but I'll still do it. I've done tons of like high falls and things like that. It's just like one of those things you kind of have to overcome. You know, and so I've done a big variety of stunts over the years, and you know, I love it. And fortunately enough, I've never got injured. I'm getting a little older, so it gets a little harder to do. But you know, I probably will phase myself out of that position, you know, in the future, and maybe have somebody else do some stunts for me.
You have your own stunt double.
Yeah. In low budget filmmaking, you don't get. I mean, for us, we didn't get a stunt, you know, person. We just had to do most everything ourselves. So
Practicality.
Yeah. So
nice. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I appreciate you guys sitting down with I appreciate you guys sitting down with us at Grizzly Radio Interviews. Real quick, how about this? Why don't you directly into the camera?
okay.
Describe the evening that people will have as they're watching Death Merchant.
Well, this is the deal. Death Merchant is an over-the-top 80s throwback. It's brutal, gritty, bloody action film full of girls, guns, and blood, if you're interested in that type of stuff. But it also has a heart to it. You know, it's about a father that's trying to save his daughter in this crime-ridden city. And so if you really enjoyed like Commando, John Wick, Die Hard, hopefully you'll enjoy this film. And so I really made this film for the fans and, you know, for action lovers like myself.
Yeah. I think the night of the premiere, you're going to have a lot of fun. You're going to enjoy a really fabulous movie, and then we're going to have a lot of fun afterwards.
Amazing. Well, yeah, I think that'll be it. I appreciate you guys coming down here, and we can't wait to see what else you guys got up y'all's sleeves. You have some short sleeves on, so it wouldn't be that too hard to figure that out. But whatever comes in the future, we'll be looking out for it.
Thank you.
Awesome. All right.
Thank you.
Get out.
Was that good?